I got commissioned to make 150 mugs for niall horan, and this is how it went.
The first step of the project was making a tester mug in this design, and I had to go to the pottery shop to get a couple supplies because I wanted to try out different combinations of glaze. And then I got straight on the wheel when I got home and made these tester mugs. After the first tester, the team wanted to try and get a closer match to the glaze, so I did a second tester, and then we had the green light and we're good to go to start making the 150 mugs. So I began wedging 450 grams of earthenware clay into these little balls, which I can then just throw on the wheel, and they're super easy to work with. Throwing 150 mugs on the wheel was definitely a challenge, and I think it took me the better part around 10 hours. Then the next day, all the pieces were leather hard and they were ready to trim and add handles to. Trimming was definitely something I underestimated in how long it would take because it took me pretty much all day. But my favorite part was adding the handles because I created this little technique to do it a bit faster. So I rolled out a big slab of clay and then I cut it into all of these smaller pieces, and I could make 30 at a time. It was at this point that I could really see the mugs coming together and they just looked so cute. Finally, to finish off the workday, Niall's team had asked me to carve out some writing on the bottom of the mugs, and this is what they looked like. The following morning, I just cleaned all of the handles up with a sponge and they were finally finished, ready to go in the kiln. But we did have to do a candle firing first because they definitely were not dry enough, as they only had one day to dry, which did result in some breakages. Luckily, I made enough to accommodate for that. And then it was time to paint, which was definitely my favorite part, as this is where I feel most creative. On Sunday, we began the final step of making the mugs, which is adding the top coat of transparent glaze, just cleaning up the bottoms before we put them in for their final glaze firing, and this is how they turned out. So to make sure that I got all 150 fired in time, I was using both of my kilns, and my big one, which is my older one, had an error message halfway through the firing, but luckily it didn't affect it too much and I was able to restart the firing, and all of the mugs survived the firing. I couldn't believe it. They looked so pretty. Then we had to hire some extra help to help us pack all of the parcels to send this week. We made sure to use double bubble wrap and lots of tissue paper to make sure that they didn't break during transit. And then the team had sent me some of these cards to place inside. I had so much fun working on this project and testing myself. The fact that I made 150 mugs in a week is absolutely crazy to me, but I enjoyed the process so much and I love how the mugs turned out, and I hope you guys did as well.